What is going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about, did I make a mistake purchasing my home? How did I purchase my home? What was the process like? And a year of owning the home, a year of home ownership. How do I feel after a year of owning my home? It's a investment property, like a house hack kind of thing. And that's the main reason why I got it. I was renting. I've been renting all my life, ever since I moved out from my family. I think, when did I move out? Age 19, I think it was, something like that. So I've been renting ever since then, and 19, 20, something like that. I forgot exactly when. But, let me just talk about the process of moving out, renting, and now home ownership and the difference. So when I moved out, I forget exactly how old I was. I don't think I was 19, maybe 20 or 22, somewhere around there, early 20s, maybe 21, something like that. But I moved out. I moved into my friend's house, and I was paying him for a little while. And then I ended up moving in with my girlfriend and renting and paying for rent and living there for a while. And then, ever since I lived with my parents and everything, I wanted to purchase a house. I have wanted to get a house, but I never had the funds or the means to be able to afford it. So now, being older and having a steady income and everything, I was able to be in a position where I was kind of able to afford a house. And the main reason I wanted a house was honestly for a backyard and a garage. And I could have got that renting, but I also wanted to do house hacking. I wanted to live in one of the units and have the other units pay for the mortgage, so I would basically be living for free. That was the plan, at least. So going from renting to, at that point I was still renting, and then I was searching around for houses. I was looking on different apps, different applications that have houses that you can look for and go tour. And I was looking on Zillow, Redfin, and I forgot the other one. I think it's called Realtor.com or something like that. But mainly I was looking on Zillow and Redfin, and I found one house that I was interested in on Zillow, and I had put in for a viewing or something like that. And then when you go in for a viewing on Zillow, I guess they automatically assign you a real estate agent. So I had automatically been assigned a real estate agent from Zillow. I think it was Zillow or Redfin. I believe, it was Zillow. My real estate agent was from Zillow. So I had a meeting, or I scheduled an appointment to view a viewing for the house, a tour of the house that I was interested in. And I believe it was a 4 units, and it was going for around $400K, something like that, 480, somewhere around there. A lot of the buildings and houses in Chicago are really, really, really expensive. So that's one thing. I could have and possibly should have got a cheaper house than the one I ended up getting, but around the range of what I was looking at was between like 400 to 500 grand that I was kind of willing to spend, and trying to get a house that was kind of near the city, near Chicago, and that had multiple units. So all of those houses within that range were about 400, 500 grand. Anything less than that near the city was pretty beat up, tattered, and needed a lot of work. So, and I'm not very familiar with fixing up houses and things like that, so I wanted to get something that was already kind of set up for me to just move in and be fine with. So I ended up looking at the house. All of the rooms, I went to that house. It was a 4 unit, and all of the rooms that were in the house were extremely, extremely small. And then the listing kind of lied too. It said that there was a 2-bedroom. 2 of the units were 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And then when I went and toured the house, it was actually a 1-bed, 1 bath in all the units. All 4 of the units was 1 bed, 1 bath. So that was kind of a turn off for me. And I was thinking about still getting the building, even though it was kind of smaller units, smaller, everything. I don't even think I could fit a queen bed in one of the units, for that said it was a bedroom. So, I ended up thinking about it, and I ended up not going with that house or that building. After that, I just kept looking. I kept looking at different buildings, and I wasn't really finding anything. I feel like it was kind of hard for for me to find a building that was kind of in good, stable condition, that was already ready, move-in friendly, move-in ready. And it was just hard, man. I just kept looking, and it took me like 7-8 months. I think I toured from that point on of going to the first building that I toured with my real estate agent. I ended up touring like 7 or 8 buildings, something like that, maybe in that range. I forget exactly how many I toured, but a lot of them were complete messes, man. Like on the pictures and everything on the website, it looked really good, but when I actually got there in person and toured the building, it didn't look anything like the pictures. So I mean, I just kept looking. I think it had been like every day I was just looking on Zillow, looking on Redfin, just looking at different buildings. And I had a decent amount of money saved up. I wasn't too sure how much the down payment was going to be, but I wanted to do the FHA loan, which was a first-time homeowners assistance loan. I think that's what it stands for. And I hadn't even seen if I was qualified or anything like that. I was just kind of guessing I would be based on where my credit was, and I had a decent amount saved up, a decent little bit of money saved up, and I was already at my job for I believe it was like 3 years, because I think to qualify for the FHA loan you need to be at your job for 2 years minimum and have like a track record, track history of where your pay stubs and everything is coming from. And also, another thing I want to tell you guys about is that you need 3 months worth of reserves, even on top of your down payment. I believe the down payment is 3.5%, and then you have to factor in interest too, which is like another 3% or something like that. I think in total it was like 7% all in total of whatever the sale price is of the home. So that's the thing. You need to have 3 months of reserves for the building that you're purchasing. So whatever the mortgage payment is, monthly mortgage payment is, you need to have 3 months of reserves to be able to cover that mortgage payment. And then also another thing that really tripped me up that I did not know about was for FHA financing, there is like a rule. Man, I can't even think of the exact rule right now. Basically, if there's already tenants living in the building, it has to cover, I believe it's like 70% or 75% of their rent needs to cover the monthly mortgage. So I believe you add up all three or four, however many units it is. I think it's 3 if it's a building with 3 or more units. So if it's 3 units, you need to add all 3 of those units rent together, and then multiply it by 70%, and then whatever that is their rent needs to be equivalent to that of the mortgage or higher. I don't know exactly how it is, but I will look it up and I will make another video about it if you guys are interested in that, or if you guys are interested in FHA financing. There's some type of rule where I forget exactly what it's called. If you guys know what it's called, comment below. But there's a rule where the rent or the market, the rent of the tenants that are currently there, or the market value, or wherever the rent is supposed to be based on the market, needs to add up basically to the monthly mortgage to cover it. And yeah, I didn't know about that. So when I was doing finances, that kind of when I was trying to get financing for the building that I currently have, that kind of tripped me up a little bit, because there was tenants already living in the building, and their rent did not cover the mortgage, whatever the mortgage payment was going to be. So we had to submit a claim and try to go based on whatever we felt the market value was for the rent. And then we went based off that, and then everything kind of lined up and it worked out. So the building that I currently have, I saw it on Redfin. I saw it was a 3 unit, and the building looked really nice. It's a brick building. It has a first floor, a second floor with a duplex, and then it has a garden unit. So no basement, but it has a garden unit, and it has a laundry room in the back, near where the garden unit is. So what attracted me to this building is that it was really big. It had the duplex at the top, and I was kind of thinking about separating the top unit from the attic and trying to get more money or whatever and making it like a 4 unit or something. But the heat and the electricity from the top unit and the attic are connected, so it'll be kind of hard. But originally, when I was first moved in, there was tenants in each of the units. And then when I moved in, some of their leases were in. So the first floor unit, the lease ended. So I was planning on moving in there. And then the second floor, they were talking about leaving. and they were saying they were going to go buy their own building or whatever. And then the garden unit is still, they're still living there till this day. But from this point, at this moment, I'm on the first floor. The garden unit, people that were tenants that were staying there are still staying there. They're still on the same lease. They're still paying the same amount in rent. And then the top floor unit is they moved out. So it was like a bigger family. They had the top floor and the attic. I'm just going to be transparent. I'm just going to tell you guys what they are paying in rent, or what they were paying in rent. The top floor unit was paying $1,780, I believe it was, in rent. And the garden unit is paying $1,250, $1,250. And yeah, man, I ended up getting the building. Like I said, I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to tell you guys everything that I paid, how much I put down, everything. So the building that I ended up landing on cost around, I think it was $495,000 or something like that. After we negotiated, there's different stages of purchasing a building. Obviously, I had to get pre-qualified. I had to submit an offer. They have to accept the offer. And then there's a period where you go through negotiations, and then I do the home walkthrough, and I basically tell the owner, the original owner of the building, all the flaws and everything I seen, because I purchased, my real estate agent, they recommended an inspector for me. So the inspector went through the building. He did his analysis on the building, tell me everything that he felt was wrong with the building. And then from that point on, I did negotiations with the seller, and I got the price down. I got a little bit of credit, and from $495, I got the building down to, I believe, is $485 or $480, something like that. I believe it was final sale price was $485. And yeah, the inspector, he went through, I think I paid about $800. No, did I pay $800? I think I paid about $200 for the inspector, something like that. And then I also, or no, I think it was $800 for the inspector. Somewhere around that, 800, 700, somewhere around there. But then also I paid for a sewer camera, like a sewer camera, for him to check the sewers and everything, make sure the sewers weren't collapsed in, or there was any damage to the sewers. I paid for that as well. Like I said, the sale price was $485 after the credits and everything. I did have to submit an offer. I submitted the offer, and the for that I think I just matched whatever he was asking for, $495. So originally I matched that, submitted the offer for that, or I think it was $495, or he was trying to sell it for $500, something like that. But I matched that, or maybe I went down a little bit, maybe $1,000 or $2,000, something like that. And then he accepted it, and then we went under contract. From that point on, like I said, I pointed out some flaws and everything after that the inspector seen. He corrected them. And then there was some zoning, something going on with the zoning or whatever. He ended up not fixing that because he was kind of like trying to back out of the deal or whatever. Or maybe it was just a tactic to get me to finalize the contract and everything. So there was something going on with the zoning, basically saying that it was an illegal 4-unit or whatever in the top unit, and I would have to get it zoned. But legally it is a 3-unit. So they were saying to make it a 4-unit, I would have to separate the attic and get the zoning and get an architect or whatever. But that's besides the point. That doesn't matter. So yeah, I ended up purchasing the building. The mortgage ended up being $3,800 a month, but I was getting some money from the tenant, so I kind of rationalized it like that, like the house hack thing. I was getting $1,780 from the top unit and $1,250 from the bottom unit. So I was still paying a little bit of money, but it actually wasn't too bad. But then, for the first 5-6 months or whatever, because I moved in, I ended the lease, I moved all my stuff, got the building, everything was finalized. The down payment, I'm going to talk about the down payment as well. The down payment, I actually only ended up paying about $17,000 or something down to purchase the building. So I was kind of shocked by that. I thought it was going to be more around like $20,000 or $25,000. And I think I only had about $25,000 saved up or something. So I actually, if it went over that, I actually wouldn't even know what to do. But yeah, it ended up being about $17,000, and I actually ended up getting the credit back from the seller or whatever. So I ended up getting like a $2,000 check, something like that. So it wasn't too bad. I think it was $17,000 after I got the credit back or whatever, like $2,000 off. So it was like 19, and then I got the credit back, so it was like 17, something like that. So yeah, I moved in, everything was going good. I ended up the house was already move-in ready. It was just it wasn't modern. It was a little bit on the older side, certain stuff. So I kind of wanted to update stuff. So I ended up paying my friend's dad, or my friend basically, to kind of update certain stuff in the house. And till this day, right now, owning the house after a year, there's a lot of stuff in the house that I was trying to renovate that isn't even done. Like my kitchen is halfway finished. I have a wooden top on the kitchen. I don't even have a sink in my kitchen right now. And I'm just trying to work up the expenses and everything, or get the funds and everything to be able to pay for it, to be able to get it updated. And my bathroom is done, but it wasn't done to like the standard that I would like it done at. But it is done. For a good amount of time, it wasn't done. It was halfway finished, but it's done. It's just not done to the standard that I would like it at. There are some flaws in my bathroom. And then, so there, I ended up paying about like $10,000-$12,000 probably in renovations. And I did not realize how expensive renovating your home is. Just keep that in mind, guys. If you guys are going to buy a building and stuff like that, that's one of the main differences between renting and owning the building. There are different costs, and there is a lot of stuff that the seller did not tell me when I bought the building. Like, there is a lot of problems with the building that even the inspector did not see, which, just be aware of that. Try to get as good of an inspector as you can get, or even if you guys know a friend or something, take those people with you that know about construction, that know about buildings, that will be able to inspect the home for you and being able to find a lot of this stuff. Because I ended up paying almost $500,000 on a house that has a lot of flaws that I feel like, 10, 12, 15 years ago, like, this house wouldn't even be worth $500,000. It would be maybe like $350,000, somewhere around there. So I ended up buying a building almost $500,000 that has a lot of flaws. Like, there's a lot of cracking on the siding of the house, on the foundation, and just different stuff that we missed when I was doing the inspection and didn't know about. But I feel like, that happens with everybody. Like, you end up thinking this house is better than what it actually is, and fear of missing out, FOMO. So I was trying to just get the house because I wanted the garage. I wanted to, have tenants, and I wanted to do the house hacking thing. And I kind of like rushed into it a little bit and didn't realize. So, I mean, it's a learning lesson for me. And, I thought I was always going to have the tenant in there, and I wasn't planning on not having the tenant. So now I don't have the top floor tenant, which they were paying a good chunk of money for the mortgage. They're paying $1,780, and I was trying to do house hacking, but now I'm not doing it. And instead, I ended up trying to renovate the top unit, and they have been moved out for about 6-7 months now. And my top unit is not even fully renovated, and it's not even really close. I have somebody working in the kitchen right now, and my own floor is not even finished for the kitchen. So it's just a lot of different expenses, a lot of different stuff, man. Like, it's stressful owning a home. It is extremely stressful. And then the bottom floor tenants, there's always something going on, something breaking, something happening. Their lights go out, their heat doesn't work. It's just a bunch of different stuff. And I am not the type of person to be like, oh, forget it, I'm not going to fix this stuff. No, like, if I was a renter, if I was renting or something, like, and it's my responsibility as a homeowner to go fix whatever's wrong. So I'm not saying not to be a homeowner or anything like that. I'm just saying it's really, really, really stressful, especially if you have a job or school or whatever going on. Like, even if you can afford it. And I've gone in a pinch, man. Like, from not having the tenants upstairs, man, I've been close to like not being able to pay a payment or whatever. And I thought I would have a lot of funds. Like, I had backup money too, and I have a decent paying job, but it still like cuts it close, man, because I still have to pay for other things. I have to pay for utilities. I have to pay for garbage. Like, for some reason, my garbage and sewer bill is like $600. I have to pay for internet, gas. I have to pay for electricity. Like, there's more that goes into it than just the mortgage. Like, and there's just a lot of stuff that I didn't factor in when I was purchasing the home that is kind of like coming to me now. And yeah, man, like, it's hard, man. And I'm renovating the top unit. I feel like that's where I kind of went wrong, because I was trying to renovate that top unit, and it was in older condition, but I was trying to like maximize the rent and get the max rent out of it or whatever. So I ended up trying to renovate up there, but I should have just tried to rent it out as quickly as possible and not ended up renovating it. So that is a learning lesson for me as well. And yeah, man, I don't know if I already said it, but my monthly mortgage is $3,800. Yeah, I believe I did say that, but it is $3,800. I make, I don't know if I should say what I make. No, I'm not going to say it. But just know that I do make a little bit more than that. Not a little bit more. I make I make about $6,000 a month. So I make $6,000 a month. My mortgage is $3,800. I was like, my mentality was, I was thinking, oh, I have enough. Plus with the rent from the tenants, it's gonna be enough. Everything's gonna work out. But I ended up having to sell one of my cars to get money to be able to be able to pay for it, the mortgage, because it was cutting it close at a certain point, And I sold one of my cars. I thought I was gonna keep the car that I sold. I sold my Honda S2000 2001 model. I sold it. Originally I purchased that car for, how much did I pay for that car? I purchased that car for about $21,000. I sold the car, and I sold it during the winter months. So, it's a convertible 2-door. Not many people wanted it. I had it up for about a month on Facebook Market. Nobody was biting. I needed to sell the car to have cash to pay the mortgage, pay for renovations, pay for stuff like that. So I ended up selling the car for a loss. I sold it for $18,400 to Carvana. Sold that car, and that was it, man. Now I'm just, I have some money saved up, trying to catch up on my not catch up on my payments. I've been able to pay my payments every month, but just trying to keep my expenses down, keep my credit cards down, pay this, get it renovated, and just tend to whatever the tenants that are in my garden unit, whatever they need, if anything happens or whatever. It does get stressful, trying to fix stuff and things like that, because it is my building. I have to fix whatever happens, or if there's any issues. And then also trying to get another tenant in the top unit, because that's really what's holding me back from starting to save and build my money back up, is that I have to pay a good chunk of the mortgage when I need to get a tenant up there to help pay for it. So yeah, man, there's just so much stuff, so much stress, so many issues that come along from being a homeowner and owning a building with multiple units and trying to do the house hack thing. And that's just the reality of it. It's not simple. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Obviously, I had to save a decent amount of money up, but now I'm just trying to stay with my mortgage payments and stay on top of everything, man, and just try not to stress out, because it does get stressful. And I try not to show that it gets stressful, and I try to just, keep to myself and pay my payments and just make sure everything's okay. And it will be cool. It will be okay. I have faith that everything will be okay, but and it will. But from renting, renting was a lot more easier. I didn't have to worry about fixing things. The things were the landlord's responsibility and for them to fix. But now, being in a different set of shoes, being on the other side of things, I can kind of realize how expensive it is. And yeah. But on the bright side, my building has accumulated a little bit of equity. I bought it at $480, and supposedly on Redfin it says that the building is worth $600 now. I don't know how true that is. I haven't got an assessment or whatever, but I know there's something called an equity line of credit or something. I don't know fully about like refinance or anything like that. Oh, I did get the house at 6.2% too, interest rate. Just to let you guys know if you were wondering. But I mean, that's pretty much it, man. Like, renting, I would say, is easier. I would say save up more money. Expect the unexpected. Don't rush purchasing a building, because I feel like I kind of rushed into it, and that's kind of like the downfall of everything. I rushed into it. Don't rush into it. Don't listen to everybody online. Don't listen to everybody else. Don't have such high standards for yourself and such high goals, and trying to, just, I know, maybe anybody out there, if you guys are listening, if you have really, really high ambitions, like such as myself, and you just want to do stuff, and you just want to, purchase a building, have things on your own, get a good job, whatever, etc., etc. Like, don't rush yourself into it. Save enough money, have enough payments, at least save up like 50, 60 grand, maybe even more if you can. Me, I did not save that much. I saved maybe like 30 grand or maybe 25, something like that. I don't know exactly, but I thought I was ready. I thought I would be able to afford everything. And I mean, I can for the most part, but there comes a certain point where it's like cutting it close, and then I'm not able to fully enjoy my life too. I have to like minimize all my payments and everything, watch my finances, because I have to factor in food, I have to factor in, activities, different stuff I want to do, going out to eat, buying clothes, buying different items that I might want. So it gets hard, man. Like, it does get hard. If you are thinking about buying a building, just be aware of that. Be aware that there's different costs that comes with it. You have to pay for utilities. you have to factor in. Don't factor in just, if you're getting a multi-unit, don't just factor in relying on payments from tenants, because you never know when they're not going to pay. You never know when they're not going to pay, and you never know when their lease is going to end, if they're just going to leave or if they're going to renew their lease. So you can't count on their money. And I feel like I was kind of counting on their money a little bit too much and counting on their payments to go towards the mortgage to assist with me. And I cannot do that. But, you know, I mean, I do have the option of selling, which I was thinking about for a bit. But if I can keep the building, I will keep it. And if I can fix it up and everything and get everything back on track. Other than that, man, I think that is it. That's how I got my building. That was a process of getting my building. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I can go a little bit more in depth, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Thank you guys for tuning into the YouTube channel. Anybody can get a building, but just be careful. Have your funds saved up. Like I always say, if I can do it, you can do it too. Just don't get yourself in the same scenario or predicament as me by not having enough funds saved up and relying on tenants for payments, because you cannot rely on that if you're trying to do house hacking. If you guys mess with the channel, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.